Why don't you say a full sentence though? I think you can do it. You just don't know what to say. Because I can do a pretty good Irish accent, but I can't. I don't really know what they would say. Talk about.
Irish shit. Before you close.
This is the only Irish accent I can do.
What are you fucking? I'll fucking give you a pint of Guinness from straight from.
This is the only Irish accent I can do.
Oh, tell me. Oh, it's not fucking. That's not. Oh no, wait. That's not from Ireland. This is how it goes, mate.
It's not from Ireland.
You're not from Ireland.
I can only do Scottish.
Scottish.
And even then, I suck
What?
at that.
You sound like a young, old Sean
Scotch.
Connery.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Scotch. Have you ever tried, boys, to get this technology? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rev Filo Show. I'm the Reverend, joined by Filo,
Right over here.
Mike, and our special guest, Jrat. What's up, Jrat?
What it do?
Were you expecting like a clap or something?
I don't know. I just expect Philo to like
Oh.
sort of like fall, you know,
Oh,
like
okay.
get with the rhythm. Just
Oh, well, I
silence.
didn't. You always introduce me. How am I supposed to know? Every fucking day.
Hopefully,
I'm the Philo's name.
everyone enjoyed the Cali's Most Wanted episode. I was getting a lot of positive feedback about that one. I knew musical guests were gonna be our forte.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was fun with them. A lot of smoke.
So we have J-Rat, with us. What's up, J-Rat?
What's up, man?
We did
What's
no
up, guys?
prep whatsoever. So,
Man. No, well,
or at least Felipe did. I never do any prep.
Me neither.
it's all right.
I used to
It's a
do
madhouse.
honestly. I used to like look, like do prep on like YouTube and stuff. And then like one time I did what you do, like you bring stuff up and talk. I don't know. It just felt unnatural. I feel I'm better at like riffing off what you say.
So you're better than him?
Yes.
So,
You think you're better than me?
you think you're better
you
than
think
me?
you're better than me?
So he's the brains, you're the talk, huh?
So what do you got for us, Felipe?
Well, today, speaking of weed. Well, yesterday, the last show.
Weed?
Yeah, remember how much?
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys were
yeah.
smoking. Do any of you guys ever feel sick when you guys smoke after,
No.
or
No.
so much?
No.
No?
Nah,
Like
you
sick
never
hours.
smoked so much that
like-
you guys felt sick.
You like queasy?
When I smoked blunts, I remember I remember back then there was a point in my life where I could smoke. We smoked like 14 fucking blunts a day. God,
That's
in
too
one
much,
day,
man.
because I used to have a studio.
Where
at
are you
the,
getting
on
at
the, well, the studio was at the weed spot.
Too.
Blunts were like $2 for $1 back then. Now they're like $1.50.
Yeah, but now like I can't really smoke that many blunts. I could feel it in my chest and shit. Like once you get a certain age.
But
what I'm talking about, like, do you guys ever feel like, all right, like if you drink too much booze, you start.
Yeah,
to
you start to
feel-
get like queasy.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
like,
nah.
the worst that happens when you smoke
Never.
too much is you just go to sleep.
yeah.
Your body just
Tobacco
goes
makes
down.
me like lightheaded. I don't.
I've
That's why I
heard
don't like
that.
to smoke cigarettes. But like
I've heard
blunts,
that.
I never had a problem with blunts.
Interesting. Well, in Australia, and this is from Business Insider, there's been reports. There was this one lady who admitted herself to the hospital after
Right.
they legalized marijuana out there for medical use.
they mix their tobacco with marijuana. They think
It's called
us
a
smoking
spliff.
Yeah,
just a
spliff.
full.
It's an Australian thing.
Nah, it's like European.
the
Like
U-
people
actually-
from overseas do that.
They
The
think
US.
smoking a
Yeah.
full joint.
We're
is
over
fucking
here.
Well,
ridiculous.
yeah. When I used to go to a music school, and there was a lot of like kids from other countries, like Italy and all over the place, and like they used to always say like, we don't know how you guys do it, like how you guys smoke pure weed, like it's way too strong. They always had to cut it with the tobacco.
Interesting.
I hated it though.
That's
I was like, well,
disgusting.
why would you ruin weed?
I would fuck with spliffs because I smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, I don't really
and
smoke cigarettes, so
I used to smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke anymore. But at the time when I first learned
That
about
always
the
just seemed
spliff,
like too much. No way.
so what happened?
so this Australian lady admitted herself to the hospital. She was feeling nauseous and she was getting stomach pain and she was nauseous and followed by extreme like vomiting. And she said it couldn't stop. And they couldn't
fucking
figure
weird.
it out. The only thing she said, they asked her what did she eat. Everything was normal. The only difference was she started smoking
Was she
marijuana.
smoking it or eating it?
She was smoking it.
Okay, that's
And,
weird.
Yeah, and they thought, they thought this is probably the only a rare case in Australia. Maybe this is the only thing. So in 2009, Colorado legalized marijuana for medical use, and then 2014 they legalized it for recreational.
Okay.
So after that, there was reports of people coming in with the same conditions, same
Getting
symptoms,
sick?
getting sick, vomiting, stomach aches.
Well, do you think it has to do with like weed being more like you think they're putting like more chemicals in it now that it's becoming more like?
I think it's a toleration. Like
What do you
people,
mean?
because like once they legalize something, people that don't normally do that, they start to do it.
Right.
So like us, like I mean, I've been a stoner since since in my teens and shit.
Right.
You know. So now I smoke weed, and all this new type of weed that comes out, like that shit doesn't really, you know, like it'll hit me, but I won't get that stupid to the point where I feel sick.
Because now
I
bomb.
never
But
got
it's
sick.
Weed's like stupid bomb now.
The only thing I've ever
Yeah.
gotten from too much weed is like anxiety. Like, but that's like not that comes from your brain really and like your heart rate. But I never actually gotten like queasy or like threw up or anything.
I get anxiety. That's why I don't smoke anymore. But I get like just, like fucking ridiculous anxiety. I can't like to a point where I can't breathe.
Yeah.
That's one of the side effects.
Well,
after
remember that
long-term
story I told
use.
you when I ate the cake?
Yeah.
And I like instantly got like tunnel vision.
Oh yeah, wait, tell the story from the beginning.
So
What? When was this?
this was a while ago, dude. I went to a party with Anthony Velasquez, Avocado Blood. Hopefully they'll be on the show soon. And we went to this party, and it was in like Maywood. You know where Maywood's at? Like Maywood area.
Yeah.
So we go to this party, and it's Anthony's friends. I don't know anybody, and this was like early on at the MC, so I'm still kind of like new head a little bit.
That was a while ago then.
Yeah, and so I'm at the party, you know, and it's like it's a house party, and like there's people in the garage, and there's like a whole spread in the kitchen of food, and there's people, and it's just like, you know, it's cracking, and it's like, it's, you know, there's music in the garage. There's a couch. People are hanging out. There's a drum set. There's like instruments. People like jamming, and so I'm there, and I look at the spread, and I'm already stoned, so I got the munchies, right? So there's a spread, and there's this cake, this chocolate cake. I'm like, man, that cake looks good. So I get a big old slice, dude, like big slice, and I scarf it down. And then I think I got a second slice, scarfed it down, and then I go into the garage, and I sit down, and I'm chilling, you know, and there's a guy sitting like right over there, you know, and he's like just like slumped over in his chair.
It would have been that guy. Someone passed. Oh, he had cake.
So here's what happened. So I'm looking at that guy like, damn, that guy looks fucked up. So I'm sitting there, and like 2-3 minutes later, some homie of his, this guy that slumped over, walks up to him, pats him on the shoulder, and says, "Damn, bro, you're pretty fucked up, huh?" And this fool's like unresponsive, you know, just like, and he goes, yeah, you got to be careful. That cake's pretty strong. And I heard him say this, and I was like, hi, like, you know what I'm saying? Like slow, and I swear to God, dude, like the camera like panned in really closely, and I was just like, and like I instantly.
What camera?
Wow, in my head, like, in my head, I was
Life's
like,
a movie.
And
His life's a movie.
and as soon as he said that, dude, like I started to get like tunnel vision, like my vision like started to get dark, and I was like, oh, and I swear to God, like I went into the same position that guy was in. As I just slumped over in my chair, just like blue, and I passed out. I pass out. So. Thank God.
tell him that. Tell him the rest.
So listen to this.
Is that the first time your stomach's got you in trouble?
Oh no, not the first and not the last. So when I pass out, there's like a party going on. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people and it's loud and there's music and this and that. So I pass out. When I come to, it's pitch black and like everyone's gone and the party's over and like it's just like,
What the fuck?
and I was like, what the fuck? All groggy and shit, like, oh. And I just got up and I started walking through the house, like tiptoeing through the house, and then I just left, and then that was it. And then like I drove home.
Well, the funniest part of that story is he took somebody to that party.
Oh yeah, I think me and Anthony went together.
Yeah.
And I when I woke up, I didn't know where everyone was or where Anthony went, so I took off. And then when I talked to Anthony, like I don't know, like a week later or whenever I saw him again, he was like, hey, what happened to you at the party, dude? This and that and this. Like, dude, like. I fucking passed out and I left in the morning, and he's like, oh, bro. I was like, I didn't know where you were. He's like, oh, I was there. I was sleeping. Like, everyone had crashed, you know? How the hell was I supposed to know this?
He said he ditched him.
So you left the homie at the party, dude.
Ah.
Whatever. Party
You know what's funny? Oh my god! Because me, I guess I used to hang out with like Anthony a lot. I guess when I first got hired at the MC, because there was another party we went to where he was like, "Oh, let's go to this party." So we went, and it was in the same area, like Maywood area, and there was a chick who used to work at the MC named Lorena.
Lorena.
Yeah. Not Lorena, Lorena, her name, but she was an Asian girl,
Yeah,
I think.
Tony's sister.
Yes. Okay, so I didn't know her, but Anthony said, "Oh yeah, Lorena, she works at the MC."
Yeah.
And we're gonna go to her party. Okay, so we walk in, we show up at the address that they gave us, and we knock on the door, and like everyone at the party, I don't know who they are, but I'm new to the MC, so I'm just like everyone's a stranger. So Anthony, but then Anthony looks kind of confused because he doesn't know anyone at the party either. And he goes, "Oh, we're here. Lorena invited us." And the people looked at him, and he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, come through." So we go into this party, and we're like hanging out, and like we don't know anybody, and we're like kind of hanging out, and everyone's kind of like, it's not really a party; it's more of a kickback. It's not as.
But everyone's like, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
Yeah, but. We said, "Oh, we know Lorena," and they were like, "Oh, yeah, okay, like this is Lorena's party." So we're like, "Okay, cool." So we're just
like, what are the odds?
So we're hanging out for about 20 minutes, and like I'm just standing there, and like Anthony's kind of looking around, like, "Where's Lorena?" You know what I'm saying? So finally, Lorena comes in wherever she was in the back or whatever, and it's not Lorena. It's some
What
girl.
the fuck?
It's some stranger who's named Lorena.
What?
Who happened to be having a party that same night, and we just happened to got
the address wrong.
We got the numbers like backwards or something, so we ended up like on the other side of the neighborhood.
It just happened to be.
This girl named Lorena throwing a party.
You know what that's called, right?
What is that called?
That's called a glitch in the Matrix,
dude. And we were like, "Oh," and everyone and Anthony was like, "You're not Lorena," and she's like, "Yeah, who the fuck are you guys?" And they were, we were like, well," and then like. They were actually cool about it because we were like, "Oh, we're at the wrong house. Like, we're looking for another girl named Lorena," and they were like, "Ah," and they threw us out.
That's funny. That's a crazy coincidence.
Dude, it was crazy. I forgot about that.
This is a funny story right here. I was with some of my homies from high school and shit, and we were rolling around and shit, and like this girl was at the corner waiting for the light. Mm-hmm. And so the homie pulls up, the homie's driving, and then the other homie is riding shotgun. And then this fool's like, he tells her in Spanish, because she looked like she only spoke Spanish and shit.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Hola, preciosa, ¿cómo estás?"
Mm-hmm.
And then she looks at him all crazy, like she has this fucking crazy look in her face. She's like, ¿Qué? ¿Qué? And my homie trips out, and then he's like, pues, ¿cómo estás? And then she's like, ¿Cómo sabes mi nombre? Like, how the fuck do you know my name?
Yeah.
So fucking her name was Preciosa.
Oh.
And then this fool fucking was like, "Hola, Preciosa, ¿cómo estás?"
Yeah.
And shit. And she's like, "What the fuck? How do you know my name?"
That's hilarious.
So she tripped out. That reminded me of that little funny coincidence.
That's crazy.
Remember that time? I'm thinking of all these like Anthony memories now. We were at Footsie's. Remember we were at Footsie's and we got in a fight? But then you weren't there.
I was eating a burrito.
He was getting a burrito. And we're like brawling.
Wow.
He was fighting that
it was
burrito.
barely a brawl, dude. Like these fools were weak as fuck. Like, but what's funny is like.
I come back with a half-eaten burrito. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what's funny is like I just picture in my head like we somehow like there's a group of us and like we somehow like get in this like scruffle with these like other group of like lame ass Mexican fools, and we're brawling, and I just picture Mike like we're like whoa, and then it just cuts to Mike like. Like da, 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 da.
Munching his burrito, all happy.
Just like cuts back to like I was like oh.
I imagine like the piano, like the
like no Mike, but you know who else was there? Was Maximilian? Remember Max?
Yeah.
And what's funny is like I mean, it was barely a fight, dude. But like, it was kind of like a fight, and like we were brawling, and then like it kind of broke up, and then like it spilled somehow across the street, or like we went across the street to the gas station.
I remember that.
And
So it's like a big cloud of smoke.
But then
that's
like,
coming out.
That's
but
what
then,
I
yeah, yeah.
All the way fucking on the
corner,
next corner.
Yeah. So we make our way across the street, and then like they follow us, and they're like, "What's up?" You know, and Max, he goes, "You want to fuck with us?" And you know those squeegees? He pulls the squeegee out
For the window?
No,
like,
to like
yeah,
use it
gas
as
station.
the window.
At
Yeah,
the
the
gas
squeegee
station.
to use it like as a weapon. He's like, "Come on, motherfuckers, let's go!" With the squeegee.
I forgot about that.
And they're like, "What the fuck? What's up?" And then he gets the squeegee. He goes, "You want to fuck with us?" And he breaks it on his knee. And then they all scattered, dude.
Because he made a shank out of it.
Yeah, dude. And everyone was like, "Oh." And then Mike comes with his burrito, like, "What's going on, guys?"
Damn, all right.
Well, I know one of you guys was like, "Fuck, we just got down, but let me get a bite."
That was probably me. That was me. I think the kid was there. Anthony was there.
I think Orlando was there.
Orlando might have been there.
Man,
Well,
yeah.
if anybody wants to know the name of the symptom I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
It was cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. So
I think
okay.
J-Rat's spot on because weed's fucking stupid bomb now. And it's legal. People try it for the first time.
They get freaked out, dude.
Oh fuck, crazy.
yeah.
Like there's a famous call, like a 911 call, and it's police officers, like a husband and a wife, and I don't know, one of them was a police officer.
Oh, they confiscated the
And
cookies,
the
right?
brownies or
The
whatever,
brownies,
and
yeah.
they ate them. And then the 911 phone call is them like, "We ate these brownies, and I think we're gonna die. We're dying."
The cops?
Yeah,
No,
it
the
was
cops
a
are calling.
cop.
Yeah, calling 911, and they're like, "We ate these brownies, and I think we're dying." And then like, he goes, "Yeah, we're dead. We're dead. I think we're dead. Yeah, we're dead."
Right. So they confiscated.
Wait, what?
Brownies.
So this guy is a cop, right? I
Yeah.
guess they confiscated some brownies or some kind of edible. I'm not.
So they
exact.
knew it contained THC.
Yeah, they knew, and so they tried it. Him and his wife, I guess they're kicking it at home and shit.
Yeah,
They're like,
okay.
Fuck it, I got this
All right.
brownie. Let's try a little
And he
piece.
causes the cause.
And they both start tripping out to the point where they have to call the ambulance and shit. 911.
So I've never tripped that hard on edibles. What do you do at that moment when you?
At that moment, you
I mean,
drink some milk and you
what
throw up.
I do.
Yeah.
I get in the fetal position and I just wait till it passes.
Well, one time, me and my brother and I, we were kicking it at the house. This is the brother you guys haven't met. And
What?
Yeah.
Long lost brothers.
There's another Roque.
Yeah, there is. His name's Ruben. We were.
He's our boss at the MC.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no,
Oh,
not that
yeah.
Ruben.
He's
Another
head of
Ruben.
the-
Oh yeah.
He's
Another
the head of
Ruben.
the
Oh yeah.
setup crew.
But anyway, we were eating. We were hungry, and my brother's like, "Let's go get some Chinese food." All right, we go, and
Good choice. Good
the
choice.
Chinese food place that was in the plaza, there was a weed shop there. So my brother's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go pick up, get me this, whatever." So all right, cool. He comes back into the car with the edible, but it was like a fortune cookie. It was like a chocolate fortune cookie or something. And he's like, "Hey, you want some of this?" I was like, "All right, I don't really smoke." He's like, "No, just take a little piece, you'll be fine."
Just a little piece, bro.
I was like, all right, because we were gonna. It was that time that the Beatles documentary came out on Hulu.
Okay.
So he was like, "Yeah, just eat this. We'll watch that documentary while we're eating. It should kick in by the time you're eating, whatever." I was like, "All right." So I took a little piece. That shit tasted so bomb. I was like, "Oh, let me get the other piece." My brother was like, "No." He stops me, he grabs that shit from my hand. He goes, "No, don't eat the rest of it."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "You're fine. Just let it kick in first."
Yeah.
And good fucking call.
That's the one thing I don't like about
Yeah.
edibles is the delayed. How
Yeah.
it takes a long. I like to smoke and then you're high.
Well, the reason why I wanted to eat the rest of it because it was fucking
It was
bomb.
delicious.
It was
yeah.
really good.
How dare they make it that good?
So
Freaking people.
It's dangerous.
so we're sitting in the room and I had a couch or fold out like a futon, and we're sitting in the room. And my brother has like those TV stands that he's sitting in the middle and we're watching the documentary. As soon as this documentary goes on, like 5 minutes in, I remember just looking at Paul McCartney talk. And then I felt like I hit a fucking wall. Like my whole body just poof. And now I'm just
because
high.
like
Now
it
you're
hits
stuck.
it hits you like all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, dude.
uh-oh.
And so I'm eating noodles, and I remember this specifically. Like I had noodles like right on my fork, and then like I just stood there like this, and I looked up, and I was like, oh shit, I'm high. And I turn over to my brother, and he's looking at me like. He's like with a smile. He's like nodding his head. Yeah, you're high. And I just looked down, and I just, yeah.
I'm starting to feel weird.
Yeah.
starting to feel weird,
but
bro.
then it took over where it was like too much, and I ate some of my food and I put it down, and then I went on my futon couch and I just laid there. Like,
Yeah, that's all you
I'm
can
still
do,
watching
bro.
the documentary, but I'm like laying there, just fucking like
stuck.
Yeah, dude, it was insane.
This is how I
I think we took one at a movie theater in Oakland one time, and we passed down the movie.
No, nothing happened.
Oh,
Remember?
was it? I could have sworn we fell asleep just from being tired from our long trip.
Oh yeah, it might have been that, but I remember. them
Now
not
you throw
hitting.
that in. Oh yeah, we had a long trip.
What was I gonna say? This is how
we were in Oakland, bro.
This is how I describe edibles.
Yeah.
Imagine like when you're on a roller coaster, right, and you're going up the hill before you hit the drop, but like you're going up, and like as you get higher, you get kind of a little bit more anxiety because you're getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
And I just imagine like it's like that, but eventually you never reach the top. You just keep getting higher and higher and higher and higher, and that's where you start getting like wait, you don't want to stop, you know? Because like when I smoke weed, if I'm smoking it, like that's how it is. But like you'll go and then like you'll hit it and then you'll even out and then you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But with the thing, you just higher and higher, and then it's like
Yeah.
pretty soon you're like it's like
how
in
it
the
fucking
cartoons
felt,
where
dude.
like when you reach the top and like you look over like it's Earth. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in space.
Yeah.
And you can
Because
see all of Earth.
you can't like measure the intake that your blood that you're taking in with
it gets
the
in your
edibles.
blood
It's
and
harder.
shit. And
It's harder. Like with a couple of hits, you already know like this is only that's a small amount of THC. Inside
Like,
it.
with
But
that,
even
you're
like one time I
smoking.
had chocolate covered almonds. Each almond was 5 milligrams, and I had 3. It was 15 milligrams, which really isn't that much. Oh man, I tripped my balls off, dude. I was like in the fetal position.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I never reacted.
You know, eating too many edibles gets you constipated.
Oh no way.
I don't really eat edibles.
I don't. I smoke. Yeah, I don't fuck with that.
Nah, yeah, because
So what is this disease now? Cannabis
cancer, hypermesis syndrome, or CHS.
Okay.
Is what they're naming it so far.
how many cases have been like documented?
Has anyone died from it?
No, nobody has died from it.
It's too bad.
But let me see. They just said they've been doing the study in more cases in Colorado since it got legal there.
Yeah.
2,500 cannabis-related ER visits.
So what happens? Like, what's the symptoms, or like how do they feel?
So it's just okay. So the
Like, do
reason
they
why
throw up? They start puking?
So the reason why they connected it to marijuana because all of these cases, people have gone to the ER have all not done anything, like eaten anything or done their normal routine, but the only thing they added was they started smoking, and they said the only cure to the nausea, vomiting, and stuff like that, and the stomach pains is to just stop smoking, and then it goes away.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is what I think happened. A motherfucker that has never smoked or did drugs a day in his life was like, fuck it, you know what? It's legal. I'm about to try it. They go to the fucking weed shop and they buy like the most expensive shit. Because if I'm gonna try something new, I'm gonna try the best, right?
Right.
So
You
then
want the top notch.
now they have this, you know, they have no kind of exposure to weed whatsoever. Now they hit this fucking fire ass weed.
Yeah.
They're gonna fucking get
They
sick.
trip out. Yeah, they get sick. My mom told me once. Shit. I really shouldn't say my mom.
Well, it's too late. We'll
Well,
bleep
no.
that. You can bleep that.
No, but my mom told me once that.
Did it again.
Okay, fine. My cousin told me once that she was hanging out with one of our aunts, and they were smoking a blunt.
And your mom.
And I was gonna cut that out, but fine. My mom was in the rotation. Sorry, ma.
It's alright. It's just weed.
Yeah, she runs a business. She knows these white folk.
Hey, my mom used to smoke bud too.
Used to, but so no, but she was saying how that one of her old homies who like this is like this veteran fool was in the rotation, and he thought he was big and bad because he had been smoking pot since the 80s and 90s, so he thought
He smoked that Michoacan.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? He was smoking that fucking
Smoke that Thai stick.
so he thinks
Chocolate Thai stick.
he thinks he's big and bad, and so they pass him the blunt, and they're like, "Hey, ease up on the blunt. You know, it's really strong. You know." And he's like, you know, whatever. I've been doing this since I was 2 years old. Shit, I smoked PCP last week. You know, he's not tripping on it. So he hits the blunt, and he hits the blunt and he's hitting it, you know, and like they say like 20 minutes later that he was just like
Slumped out.
Oh, he was just like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah, he passed out.
He smoked that stress.
Like, well, that's what you get. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Kush, baby. Woo!
The best shit he probably had was Arizona.
Right.
You know,
My
That Pretendo.
AZ.
my uncles from my mom's side, they're old veterano fools, and they could only drink like Budweiser and Bud Light. Anything else, in their stomach, they just get so sick.
Because
Not a big
they're
fan.
older, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle does. Well, my uncle told me he does that same thing. The reason why he drinks Bud Light all the time is so he can just keep drinking all night.
Yeah.
You want to hear a funny ass fucking story? Look, my uncle used to be in prison for a really long time, right? And so when he got out, like I was living in Moreno Valley and shit at my parents' house, and he was coming out over here to like LA. He was staying out here, and I asked him to bring me some Bud back because I didn't really know spots out there that really had Bud, and I had gotten Jip once. So I was like, yeah, you know, like bring me like some Kush. So this fool, like I was waiting all fucking day for this fool, and then he shows up, and it's like, you know, later on in the evening he shows up, and then I'm like, yo, what's up? You know, you got it? And he was like, yeah, man, that shit fucking stinks, man. Like, I had to fucking. He was like, dude, that shit fucking smells disgusting, man. Like I had to fucking hide it,
smell.
you know. I had to
They're
hide
like
it.
cheesy.
So I was like, wait, what do you mean you
They're
have to
like
hide
Gouda.
it? So he was like, yeah, look, and he fucking gives me. I swear to God, it's like a little baggie with this ball rolled up
He compressed it.
in it, and it was probably like 3 millimeters fucking
Keistered it or what?
big. So you know how like American Me, when that fool gets caught with the little balloons and
Right,
shit,
right,
it was
right.
like one of those, but
it
he
was
had
weed.
He had a whole gram of Kush that he had compacted into a little tiny ball, and then when I opened it up, it was this little fucking ball, and he was like, "Man, that shit was $20." I was like, "What
Whoa,
the fuck?" Like,
Man.
so, dude,
Kush?
no. I mean, it came regular, but
Yeah.
he was so used to fucking hiding shit a certain way. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure he didn't keister the shit.
I
but
hope not.
he just had it. You know, he tried to
Kush?
make
Kush
it stop
is,
smelling.
Kush is what made me like a stoner. Like before I smoked Kush, like I would smoke weed, but like it was always like yeah, this is not big of a deal. Cause you know what I'm saying?
When
Like
started,
I wouldn't
it
get
was
like dumb high.
Chronic and the perps started to come up.
I mean, I think now I realize I was probably like in high school and like even post high school, like I think I was smoking like stress and like shit, but
so,
I didn't
too.
know that there was like
First time
stress.
I smoked Kush, I got fucking stoned.
I didn't know there was stress and chronic and all this. I thought it was just weed. Weed was weed, right? So
Yeah.
it wasn't until my homie who was slanging, who was slanging, and he was slanging Kush, and he started blazing me, and that's when I started to get like all tripped out, and I would be like, fuck. I feel like I remember when I first started smoking Kush, I would feel like I was in slow motion, but everything else was regular speed. So you'd be like, "Hey, Chris," and I'd be like, you know, like you know what I mean? Like, and by the time I answered, like, it was already the next day and shit. You know what I mean?
You know what's the worst though, when you smoke and you're like, you don't really smoke that much, and you smoke around your homies, and then they fuck with you when you're high.
Shit.
Like I had homies that they would purposely move in slow motion, and like I would look at them, like we'll be driving and shit, and then like I'll look in the back seat and shit, and then I'll fucking see the homies, they're giving themselves a high five, but it's like all slow, like.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna do that.
they would do that
next
shit.
time.
Man, and they would always like fuck when we first started smoking, like a lot.
Yeah, the Kush is what started to like trip me out. Like I used to get tripped. Like I'd be smoking with the homie, and then I'd be like get all tripped out. I'd be looking at that fool, like thinking to myself, like, do I even really know this nigga? Like, who is this guy? Anyways, like, what the fuck? Like, he's just
like,
some
I
person.
can hear you.
He's just some person.
He's like, you know, you're talking out loud right now. Like, what? Huh? Eh?
I think I should kill him.
I think I should murder him right now. What did you say? Nothing. It's true, man. That shit used to trip me out.
Nah, I can't knock on stress though. I started smoking stress because that was the only shit that we
Yeah,
knew.
when
I was dude, like this is like fucking 90, 95. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, there was
when
like
I
Chronic
first
was
started-
like top notch back then.
I mean, Chronic barely had came out, and then the only way that I found out about it was because of fucking Dr. Dre and
Right.
shit. You know, and
That's Chronic.
other than that, like it was just stress and Arizona, like you know, Indo.
I never even heard of Arizona. I thought you meant the iced tea.
No, like AZ weed, man. Like back then, that shit was like the light green. It was the pretendo of that
I
weed
remember
generation.
I went to my aunt's house and I had just picked up from the shop, so I had it in the little like you know, the little pill bottle or whatever. And my aunt had some homies who were there, and they were like, "Hey, what was that? You just picked up some weed or what from those shops?" And these guys are like in their like early 40s, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like they were smoking weed like mid 80s and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, I just went to the weed shop and picked this up and this and that." They're like, "Oh, can we take a look at that? Like, can we look at it?" And this was like mid shelf, you know?
Yeah.
So can we look at that? I'm like, yeah. So I gave them the thing and they open it and they're like, they smell it. They're like, "Whoa!" They're like, "God damn! Like shit, this is good." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, and they started saying how like back in the day, like when they would go buy weed, they would have to go to like the connects, like on
Yeah.
the block,
The weed shop, the weed house.
yeah, and then that they would have to like pick the dirt out of their weed and shit. Like, you know, he was like still harvesting it in like his backyard.
No,
and
yeah.
shit.
Cleaning weed was a ritual back then.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
You just
he's
have
like-
to take out the seeds and the stems and shit.
Mhm.
And then sometimes they
So
would have
now-
this brick fucking compressed
off the plant.
ammonia
Way they grow
smelling
now,
shit.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, fucking weed etiquette.
Good
So
old
wait,
weed.
so well, I don't really buy weed. So when you purchase it, it doesn't have any seeds or no.
Not
nothing.
now.
Damn.
Now it
so
doesn't.
it's like a full service now. You get your weed ready to smoke.
You could
right?
get weed delivered to your house.
Yeah.
Well, you still have to break it up and prepare it however you want.
Yeah,
Now-
yeah.
Now
Like,
they're selling capsules like 20 joints in this of that weed.
See, that's cool.
product now.
I would want to
Yeah.
buy
I
something.
remember
Just
one
like
time I was
points.
smoking with my buddy, and you know, it's kind of customary to like break up your weed when you, even if you pack a bowl, like you never put like
The
just
whole
a whole
nug.
nug in the weed or in the bowl
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean, if you're
Well-
smoking a blunt or a joint, you're obviously gonna break it up
So,
anyways.
so why not though? In the bowl.
Well,
No, because for
can.
smoke reasons. Like,
yeah, I guess it smokes better, it burns better.
If
But
you
what's
break it?
funny is
it burns evenly.
yeah, like you break. But I remember once I was kicking it with my buddy Greg and his older brother, and my buddy Greg throws the nug in the bowl and just starts hitting it, and his brother's like, "What are you doing? Like, why don't you break it up?" And Greg, I don't know if like he meant it or if he was like he forgot and he was just trying to like save face, but he's like, "Oh," he goes, "I never like to break up my weed. I always put my weed whole in the bowl." And the brother's like, "Why?" And he goes, "I just feel it holds in the flavor." I feel like you get a much like better sense of the flavor. I don't know. I just thought it was such a weird thing to say. Like,
No, because when you break it up, finally, the airflow
Yeah,
in the little
right,
hole is
right.
better, so you can fucking hit it better. If you throw the whole nug in there, you're gonna
Right.
fucking be sucking a golf ball through a straw kind of thing, you know? Like,
Ah, yeah, that makes
so
sense.
it closes that little
Yeah, because
hole,
only the top part will burn, not the bottom.
not the bottom.
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
smoke won't even go in the hole smooth. So
Ah.
that's why you break it up.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Anyways,
I love weed. I
I
love
love
it.
weed too. I do. Who?
You think they can use it to cure measles?
Weed?
Didn't they
Yeah.
cure measles already?
Nah, man. There
there's
was
an
some
outbreak
kids
right now.
that got
Oh,
it.
really?
Ah,
Did you guys ever get the chicken pox?
yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I never
Kids
got
don't
the-
get it anymore.
I never got the chicken pox.
You never
they,
got the
they
chicken
have a
you know
shot.
what's funny too
You can get the shingles.
is, oh fuck, I hope not.
Kids can still get it.
What, chickenpox? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
rare. It's rare if they have.
rare. It's rare
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
You know, what was I gonna say? When I was a kid, like elementary school, like I remember, I thought it was cool to get the chicken pox. I was
Miss
like,
a
wow,
couple
like I felt
days.
left out that I didn't get it. And yeah, well, that was the thing. Like getting sick when you were a kid was the best because
Yeah.
you didn't have to go to school.
Play some Crash
So,
Bandicoot.
so you would hear like you would go to class and like you would hear like, oh, so and so is
Billy has the
Billy
chicken
has
pox.
the chicken pox, and I would be like, fuck, damn, like son of a bitch, why not me?
I should have been playing this.
Whoa.
It should have been me.
You go over that motherfucker's house and
Nah,
give him a nice big hug.
shit.
Like, man, I miss you at school
my,
today, bro.
my aunts and my mom, they gave us chicken pox
Yeah.
on purpose. Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
that was
say,
a-
I hear
yeah.
people
Some
do that.
parents
Like,
Yeah, like my cousin got it, and
I
then,
was an infant when I had it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah. That is
Yeah,
Not
that's
a,
it.
okay, not an infant. Like what? Like 3 years
I
old?
was
4
still
years
in the
old?
womb.
Oh, so you're like a
Okay.
toddler.
Yeah.
Oh nah, because if you're a baby and you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
chickenpox,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fucking
that's-
bad.
it's not good to
Yeah.
get
I'll
sick
take that
when
back.
you're a
Like
baby.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years old, I think.
I was around the same age,
Yeah.
and then
Fucking miracle
all
baby.
all our cousins and shit, they brought us all to my grandma's house, and we all fucking got
Got it.
chickenpox there.
Yeah.
Let's bring them together.
I think I remember
Yeah, I never
when
had it.
one of us got the chicken pox, then like my brother and sister both got it, or one of us got it, and then we all got it.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of my siblings got it. I don't remember getting it.
You didn't get it?
I never got it.
Well, the adult version of chicken pox is way worse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Whatever. Life's suffering anyway. So.
So you want to suffer more?
What's a little chicken pox?
And then you can play connected dots.
Pain is love.
That's true. Well, I'll tell you what did happen to me when I was a kid. I broke my arm.
Ooh.
And I fell off the monkey bars. I was hanging and I fell. I let go, fell, and I fell on my arm. So I
Clean break or fracture?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Probably a
with you.
fracture because
Yeah.
a break. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was probably a fracture, but still, it was extremely
yeah.
painful. But what's funny is I don't know if maybe we didn't have health insurance or maybe we didn't have any money or whatever. But my parents didn't take me to the doctor right away. I didn't go to the doctor for a week. And
So you were rolling around.
Yeah.
With a
yeah,
fractured
so
arm.
according to my cousin Mike,
You didn't break it. It was
And,
a fracture there.
that I just walked around for a week with my hand just kind of like that, and that but I just kind of walked around like that, and that
Yeah, sleeve
my
or nothing.
parents
Like
my
a
parents
dog with
didn't
their
say
foot up.
anything. My parents just I don't know what, and then but I guess one day that I bumped into something, I tapped something belly, and I was just because
Extremely
my shit was.
painful. Hell yeah.
And then that's when they took me to the doctor and
Well,
they wrapped me
What,
up.
she didn't believe it at first?
It would no. Well,
My arm's never been this. I lost
Me
my
and-
pitching arm after that. Could have been in the
They've been the
majors. Thanks, Ma.
well,
Could have been somebody.
me having a kid myself, if something were to happen and I wasn't there, I didn't see it, or and especially if you don't just see it flapping around, you're not gonna know right.
Yeah.
You're not gonna know right away.
That's why he didn't break it. Because if you break the bone, it's
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, I think it was a
You
fracture.
have you will
Fractured
not be able to fucking. use
Yeah.
your
But
fingers.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, I had those casts that went all the way up past
Me too.
the elbow.
I broke
Yeah.
my
So
I broke
was
my
like
wrist.
that for a month or
I
2
broke
months
my
or
wrist
something.
and I had a cast all the way up here.
to your
I
shoulder.
broke it in the 4th grade in the jungle gym too.
I was 4 years old.
Oh man.
I was a little kid.
And you couldn't talk.
He was 4 years old.
No, I
was
could
in the
talk.
4th grade,
Well,
and
you-
we were
you-
both at the park.
I didn't know. Eventually the pain.
You guys are break brothers.
Eventually, the pain of the initial accident subsided. And
the breaker brothers.
You thought it was fine.
mind you, this is what my cousin told me.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know. Maybe my parents have a different story, but that's what my cousin told me.
It probably wasn't even a week.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
that's
2
just-
days.
Yeah.
Shit.
I
But
think
the
they-
agonizing pain made it feel so long.
I don't. I remember walking around with the cast.
When I was younger and I used to get hurt, I would keep that shit from my parents because I would always get hurt skating.
Right.
So my mom was always like, if you fuck yourself up, I'm going to fucking take that skateboard away and throw it in the trash. I was like, fuck. So I rode around with 3 broken fingers for a little while.
Oh.
These motherfuckers were fucking broken, dude. Like, I had to pop them back. Like, they were dislocated.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
had
yeah.
to fucking pop them back in place by myself.
I got mines too.
And so,
Oh.
yeah, dude.
Oh, okay. For you guys can't see, but Mike's, what is that? Your pinky?
Yeah, from football.
Oh
both
my
of them.
god,
that
dude! They
sick-
look like pretzels.
I wanted to play the next day, so I popped them back and put tape around them. And
Here, let's take a picture.
You want to take a
For-
picture? We're gonna
for the-
take a picture of Mikey's pinky and put it on Instagram. Everyone go check it out. Rev Filo
disgusting.
at the Rev Filo Show.
this
Damn.
one looks like seriously to the side, huh?
I'd hate to be your girlfriend.
Well, look at this. Check this out, Mikey.
Oh,
Hold on, Mike. Hold on, Mike.
Oh, now we're just like bending fingers and.
Well, ever since then,
Ooh, look at that! That's ooh.
Hold on, Mike.
Look
Keep
at
it
that.
up,
What's
keep
that
it
thing
up,
that's
keep it
coming
up,
out on the
keep it up.
side?
that's a cyst.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
That's a cyst from a fucking
Alright.
broken
Oh,
fucking
shit.
pinky.
Ooh, yay!
Is that timer on? I hate that.
Oh yeah, sorry, I left the timer on from our earlier photo shoot.
And then check out my fingers. All of these, they fucking don't. They bend crooked as
I
fuck.
saw
that
Yeah,
shit does the
that's
crooked. Hold
weird.
on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Yeah, dude, they're crooked as fuck.
I can see from the
So we'll
back.
post,
It's so
we should post
weird.
that like as soon as you drop this.
Yeah. We'll put it up.
The finger picks.
Fucking A. Now I'm thinking of all the injuries I sustained as a
Yeah.
child.
Well,
That was part of childhood, dude. Getting fucked up, getting hurt, scraped,
I used
bruises.
to always bust my ass.
Now I feel like kids are a little soft and shit, you know?
Remember when I was a kid? I thought it was cool to have a broken nose. Like, I don't know why. I just thought it would be cool to be like, oh yeah, it just seemed like tough.
Did you ever break your nose?
Nah. I was like, man.
You know, that would really fucking suck.
Yeah. I mean, my nose is. Imagine how fucked up my nose would look.
Dude,
like
your shit would look like Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, it's already huge. So it'd be like,
You know it's broken when you can't stop bleeding from it. Like it's just
oh, really?
pouring blood.
That and the
you
immense
broke
pain.
your nose before?
No.
You know, my grandma.
Yeah, no, he does that when you said that.
My grandma told me that when she was a kid, she broke her nose, but like they never went to the hospital or anything, and her nose just healed on its own, and like she had like this big old bump on her nose, and like it was all fucked up her whole life and shit.
Damn.
R.I.P.
Fuck. Yeah. All right, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
My grandfather, rest in peace, told me a story about when they were living in Mexico, and my grandma. He said one time, you know, your grandmother got bit by she got stung by a poisonous scorpion.
Shit.
My grandpa too.
And so I was
Oh,
like,
shit.
holy shit, what the fuck happened, you know? And my grandfather was like, the scorpion died.
That's funny. Sammy has a similar story with his dad crossing over. He crossed the border. They were in the desert. He got stung by a scorpion, and he thought he was gonna die. And they're like, "Well, what can we do for him?" They're like, "Well, we just hopefully he survives." And he ended up surviving.
Damn,
Is that everyone's story? Because my grandpa, it's an insane story too.
Yeah.
fuck, dude. Let's get stung by a scorpion and see.
I guess the odds.
Oh, I have one right here.
I guess the odds are pretty high. 1,000 people crossing. How many of them are gonna get stung in the middle of the fucking desert? You know,
Yeah.
I guess that seems like a scenario that had happened quite frequently, especially back then.
Well, they weren't trying to
Scorpions.
cross. They were
Scorpion,
just living
snakes,
in
That's
I
like
guess.
that
hood.
show. It's the show. I forgot. I think it's on the TLC or some shit where they have like. I think
No
it's
one
called
watches TLC.
Infested.
Infestations?
I guess I watched it for this one.
Oh, I
fucking
think I know what you're talking
episode.
about.
Infestation.
Infestations.
Yeah, and they were
Oh,
talking.
man,
there
those
was this lady in
fucked up.
Arizona who I guess they bought a house and for a fairly good price, and I think couple weeks in, her husband gets bit by something. They don't know what. He starts getting sick and he goes to the hospital. They can't figure it out. He almost dies. And then they just give him some anti-venom and hopefully it worked. And it ended up working.
Anti-venom.
So so then he goes back home and he gets bit again. This time they find the fucking spider, and it's one of those yellow. I think it's yellow. I forgot what they're called. The one
Brown
of the,
recluse.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, fuck.
And it's one of the poisonous.
bad.
Those are worse than
Spiders.
Black Widows.
Yeah.
And they're in
He should've-
Cali. They're
He should
they're
have
in Cali.
died.
And
Brown recluse, and you started off by saying yellow.
yeah. Yellow,
Turned out he
brown.
was.
Yellow.
Turns out it was.
He says
Wolf-
yellow, and how did you guess brown recluse out of that?
Yellow.
because I knew
brown.
that's where he was going.
Yeah.
But
Some kind of earth tone.
It's like mustard, like yellow mustard, brown mustard.
Yeah. So fuck you, Mike.
Shut
Anyway.
the fuck up. You pulled that one out of your ass right now.
No, but so the end of the story is
Still
turns
smell
out
the
that
shit.
it was Wolverine.
Yeah.
So
Wolverine bit him. Anyway.
no, I meant Wolverine got bit by the
Oh,
brown
yeah,
recluse.
yeah.
All right, we're gonna end the show now. Thanks.
So her house was. It turns out they built the house on top of a nest of these brown recluse.
Damn, a nest.
A nest, yeah. So there was like a whole colony. So there was no way to fight them off. They would spray poison, and then eventually they would just come back. So and she couldn't sell the house, so they just abandoned it because they couldn't sell the house. There's people,
So it was infested with brown recluses.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then I don't know how real these pictures were because it looked like reenacted things, but they showed like the house with like the spiders crawling on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
there
it
was.
was-
Okay, so I heard
hate
an interview
burn
once.
that fucking place down, because then it's gonna go to the surrounding houses. And
Well,
neighborhoods.
nah, I mean,
I don't know actually.
I don't know where they
Well,
built it.
so I heard
That's
a
what
guy.
they get. That's
there
what
was
you
a.
get.
I guess there's a show. I might be on TLC too, but
No
it's
one
about
watches TLC.
it's about
I guess we do.
apparently Felipe and Rev watch Channel Smart.
And
So
Are we the only ones? Hey, TLC, sponsor us,
that's
please.
enough.
This is an A&E
Enough to keep the
house.
channel
This
rolling.
is an A&E
No,
house.
but this is there was a show called Hoarders
Yeah.
where
That's on Pawn Stars. I mean, that's on H, a History Channel.
History Channel.
Oh yeah, that
Pawn
is
Stars.
History Channel. But we'll still take the
That
sponsorship
mic you're
from
using
TLC.
is so trash, dude. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry, just like because I'm listening to you and you sound like
Even mine sounds better.
Well, yours, you have the nicest
that's
mic
the nice
here.
one.
That's the nicest one.
No wonder.
So
No wonder.
okay, no, but so there's a guy who works on Hoarders, and he's like he has like a cleaning business, but he goes into
You sound like trash.
oh, thanks.
Okay, go ahead.
You're fucking with my flow, man. Goddamn. So he gets a team together, and they go into people who are hoarders who either died or like somehow they got them out of the house, and they go in and they clean their houses, and they like. So this guy who runs this business was being interviewed once. It was actually on the Stern Show, and he was telling about all these different things that he's found, like places, houses where just newspapers are just like stacked to the ceiling, and like
I've seen a couple episodes.
and he said there was one, and there was actually a family living in the house. It was like a couple, and they had a small child, like who was maybe like 3-4 years old.
Oh shit!
But that it was infested with roaches. But I'm talking. He said that that there was roaches falling from the ceiling. That there was just roaches everywhere, just like completely covered in roaches. And this family was living in the house with the roach infestation. And that they found the kid and the family there, like squatting in there, and that and he said that there was so many roaches that the guys were like, he said my guys were taping up their assholes and taping up their ears and taping up their noses because they didn't want roaches crawling up like
Little cracks and crevices.
yeah, everything. It was
That's pretty disgusting.
But then he also said that like they cleaned out some lady's house and she had like $300,000 worth in like bonds or something just lying there. She didn't even know it was there. It was just buried in her house under a bunch of other shit, and they found it, and she ended up making like a bunch of money. Crazy.
You know what? One thing about that show is that I've seen it and I have like mixed emotions about that shit because sometimes it's just like these motherfuckers are just getting a free house cleaning. I know there's mental fucking illness involved in that
for
shit.
sure, for hoarding this for sure.
Yeah, and then like when they have kids and shit, it's worse because they're passing down that behavior to their kid and shit, right? But
not always. I hear people who like, yeah, my parents are hoarders, you know, or like, but that doesn't mean they're hoarders.
Yeah, but they may have some kind of hoarder tendencies, just not as severe and shit.
Well, I mean, my grandpa hoards like tools that he doesn't even use. He doesn't even have a yard anymore, and he has like lawn mowing tools and shit like that. And he just hoards it. And then my dad would always talk shit, and he would throw away his shit. When we used to live at their house, he used to throw away their shit. They would get into arguments about it, and my dad would tell him, "Let it go. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you holding this stuff?" And now my dad's the same way. He holds tools. He can't even do construction anymore. He has his tools. He just got mad at me the other day. I told him, "Why are you holding on to that? Sell them. Like, what the fuck do you want them for?"
It's the emotional attachment to the object.
You know, I had two guitars. I had one that I had bought, and I had one that my dad had given to me when I was like 18 or 17. And it was a pretty expensive guitar. Like, I never knew how much he paid for it, but I mean, it might have easily been like $1,000, like, you know. So I had it. I didn't always use it, but I had it for a long time, and I was attached to it. Like I was like, it had sentimental value. You know what I'm saying? So like, even though I didn't use it, I could never imagine like giving it up. And then it got stolen.
Ooh.
Out of your truck?
Out of my truck. Yeah, it got stolen
Okay.
with the other guitar. And now I think like, had I not had that attachment to it, like, I probably could have like sold it and got some money, and now I just got screwed out, and like, you know what I'm saying? So now, it granted, like, my dad gave it to me, so I mean, you know, I kind of had reason to have that sentimental kind of, but like, ever since that happened, like, I try not to get attached to like stuff like this, you know, like now I just like the interface.
Don't get attached to
I
things.
just see
Learn to let go.
as right. No, I just see it as
Sigmund
like money. Learn to let go.
To let go.
And I just see it as money now. Now I just look at this like, you know what? Like, we're gonna get some miles out of it, and then we're gonna fucking sell it for whatever, fucking a couple $100 and get some money back.
You hear that?
Damn.
It's a
You
mile?
Hear that? It's temporary.
Hey, so those thieves actually hooked you up.
With some perspective, yeah, I suppose.
guess,
Good for them.
But or they traumatized you
Motherfuckers.
because now you had
Nah,
you
because
can't-
I was stupid. I was leaving my shit in my car, and like I was just not
In
being
the
smart.
hood, you
In
had
the
no
hood,
front gates.
No gate. I had a sign that said instruments in the back.
Said I'm a dumbass. Can I steal it?
you left the door open for him. Like,
Yeah.
He even left a plate of cookies.
with milk.
Which they didn't take, by the way.
They drank the milk, but they didn't touch the cookies.
Oh, my God. But anyway, so yeah, I try not to get attached to things.
There's one dude was talking about on the way home yesterday. I was listening to NPR, and this one guy was talking about a story about how his family, they used to raise like chickens, you know, and they had roosters and he had chickens, and so he was talking about this one attachment that he had with this one rooster, because he said that this rooster would always walk with him to the gate when he would go to school. So he would go wake up and feed the chickens and the rooster.
Okay.
And then
Did he name the rooster?
His dad would see him. No, yeah, he named him. I think it was like Fuku or something.
Fuku?
It was some weird name, right?
Rough.
And so he said that when his dad, he would see his dad watching him feed the chickens, and like, damn, you know, look at him proud, like, yeah, my son's becoming a man, you know, like
Feeding the
he's
chickens.
being responsible and shit, you know, because I
Yeah.
guess the chicken was their like family business and shit.
Right.
Chickens.
Okay, cool.
So then he said that one day he came home and he would always like sneak a couple of corn kernels and give them to the rooster and shit, like his homie. Like, he was his friend. So he said that one day this fool comes home, and then, you know, they were like a religious family, so his dad was, I guess, saying prayer before they ate. And he was like, damn, this looks bomb as fuck, you know, this juicy ass chicken I'm about to eat. He's like, I wanted my dad to like hurry up and say amen so we could eat. And then he's like, before my dad finished, he looked at me, he said, do you know what you are about to eat? And then he was like, that's when it came to me, like, holy shit.
I'm eating my homie.
I'm fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, I left because I left because I didn't want to, you know, I didn't understand what he had said, because he was like, if he would have asked me, do you know who you're about to eat?
Yeah.
It's like, cause he was my homie.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
instead
yeah.
he's like, do you know what you're about to eat?
Right.
He's like, I didn't see the
People-
rooster as an object.
People who grow up on farms that have like animals, like pigs, that shit, eventually that they
Don't name
slaughter.
it. Don't name it.
Yeah, they always say like, don't name the animal. Whatever
Yeah.
you do, don't name it. Don't get attached to these animals. This and that.
So check
People do it.
so check this out. So what happened was, afterwards he said that he didn't eat, and he was traumatized for years. And he said that like he never he had like relationship issues and shit. Like he never,
Because of the rooster.
Yeah, dude. Because this fucking rooster was like his best friend.
I was gonna say.
and shit,
I was
you know?
gonna say.
But he felt guilt though, because he was like, I gave him the extra kernels because he was my homie. Little did I know.
He had survivor's guilt. Survivor's
he was
guilt.
beefing him
fat,
up.
Yeah, it's the fat chickens that always die first, you know? So he's like, I was, you know, little did I know, I'm over here fucking. So in the end, it was pretty dope. It's like, he's like, he lived a hero and he died a hero, because that day,
Damn.
you know, he was
reminds
he was
me
my
of,
friend, but then he fed us.
That
so.
that reminds me of that Simpsons
Damn,
episode where
that's funny.
he has the pet lobster.
Uh,
Remember the one in Simpsons where he has the pet lobster?
Kind of.
No.
Kind of. Refresh my memory. Kind
Okay,
of.
so pretty much Homer he decides that he's gonna get a small lobster, and he's gonna beef it up himself and then cook it and eat it. But as he's like feeding it, he grows attached to it like a pet, and like he names it Pinchy. So he's like, so eventually he starts to treat it like a pet, and he's like, oh, he's like not gonna eat it anymore. It's his pet. But then at the end of the episode, like Marge comes in and she's like, hey, something smells really good. And he goes, Homer's like, oh yeah, I had Pinchy out in the yard earlier, and he got real dirty. So I gave him a hot bath. I gave him a hot bath. To get him up. And then he like realizes like, oh shit. And then the next scene is he's crying. And he's eating them. He's like, Pinchy! Pass the butter, please. Pinchy! Oh my god, that's so good.
Oh, shit.
And then he goes, I wish Pinchy was here to enjoy this.
No, I remember one time we used to go to my grandparents' ranch in Ensenada fairly often, and they had a lot of animals there. But one of the animals, they had like goats, cows, chickens.
And this was in Mexico?
In Ensenada, yeah.
Ensenada,
Baja
right,
California, yeah,
right,
Mexico. But one of the animals that they had plenty of was rabbits. And
I've had rabbit in Mexico.
Yeah, and
Tastes like chicken.
my brother and I, we were. It does actually.
It does taste like chicken.
It
That's
does
the
taste
funny
like
thing.
chicken. So my brother and I, we were in the rabbit, I guess, cage pen, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in there, and there was this one rabbit that would always come to us, always.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would always like play with, like if it was a dog. And then this one day we were in there, and my grandpa comes over, and I still don't know to this day if he was trying to be a dick or trying to show us that we shouldn't be attached to things. I don't know what his motive was, but he came up to us and he was like, "Oh, you guys like that rabbit?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, okay." So he grabs it by the ears and just hits it in the back of the neck. He killed it right in front of us.
Why would he do that?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to make men out of him.
Yeah.
That's why.
Fucking judo chopped it.
Yeah, dude.
Judo chop.
And it just went, and we just looked and we were like, "What the?"
I was just tending to
No
the
wonder you're
rabbits,
so
George.
angry,
I
yeah.
just wanted to pet the
And
rabbits,
traumatic.
George.
And so we went up, and my grandma made a
Just wanted to pet the
birria out of
rabbit,
it.
George.
Damn.
Yeah, she made birria out of it. And then when my mom found out that it was that rabbit we were playing, my mom got mad at my dad. They had a big argument about it. But yeah, I don't know
was
why.
But did you die? No, but
We
was
did
it
not.
good?
It was good. It was bomb. I wish you would have been there to enjoy it with me.
Did he have a name? If you don't
No,
name
we
it,
didn't name it.
if
We
you
didn't
don't-
name
Called him rabbit.
Yeah.
if you don't name if you don't name the animal, then it's not murder.
it. Yeah, no, we didn't name it. We didn't name it.
Then it's not Moira.
It's not moida.
Damn
So,
it.
anyways, we're actually already
Kinda
over
want
an
to
hour.
cook up Cosmo later.
Did you want to talk about our 50 subscribers?
Yes.
We got some new subscribers actually.
We did. You want to name any?
Yeah,
any off?
I busted my phone to hell. I can barely get to my email.
Wow.
Let's see,
Clumsy
yeah.
guy.
Look. See, I pressed voicemail and it took me to voice memos. I
You're
mean,
always fucking up
Gmail.
your phone, bro.
Come on,
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
show you.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
This shit looks like a lava lamp.
You gotta get a
Again?
tempered glass, man.
It's too late for that.
The
Is too
first-
far gone.
I
thinks-
can't say that because I broke my tempered glass and I haven't got a new one.
No, but he thinks that the case, the outer exterior
Yeah.
case is gonna protect the screen. It doesn't work like that, buddy.
Yeah.
Fuck. I can't see.
All right, so we'll get back to that.
When did you get
Yeah.
that phone? When did you get it?
You got
Actually, you know what's funny? I thought I'd had it for like a year.
You haven't.
I got it in December.
He told me, he was like, I had that phone for a while ago. Dude, you got it in December.
Yeah, I remember.
Fucking
Okay,
4
hold
months
on.
ago,
Not
dude.
It won't let me.
Not
Okay, hold
even
on.
half a year.
Hey Siri, open Gmail.
Yeah. All right.
Oh shit, it worked.
Yeah, Siri, bro.
But see, like it does a bunch of shit. Come on. I can't do this, dude. It's over.
I think I can get onto it. Let me see.
Jesus,
My
bro.
phone is so fucked up, dude.
That's the last one and the one before that. And the
Mm,
one
yeah.
before that.
He's just a clumsy
Everyone,
guy.
all right, everyone just
It
chill.
says- It says more about you than your phone. I don't know why my phones always keep breaking. I dropped this one like 5 times.
See, like, look, see. Oh wait.
This guy came over the other day and he broke my lamp twice.
Oh, yeah, twice.
Fuck.
Here you go.
So he broke
I
it,
got- I'm
and
an
then you
email
fixed
already.
it,
Oh, you're on the email?
and then he broke it again.
You didn't fix it.
Okay.
All
He
right,
broke
everybody.
2 parts of it 2 different times.
Wow.
Okay, so we do have some new followers. I know a lot of them have to do with Cali's Most Wanted being on here last week.
Great group of guys.
Yeah,
That was great.
hopefully they're listening.
Yeah,
Oh
those guys are
look,
dope.
okay. Nick Bella, I guess that's a guy. I guess. Eduardo Panflo. We work with Eduardo.
Oh, yeah, that's Boy Stacy. Boy
Yeah,
Stacy.
that's
Filo.
Boy Stacy. Hello, Boy Stacy. Andrea Benevenuto. I think I know who that is. Ooh, and then Rob Gomez. Rob
Oh,
man.
nice. Hey,
Rob
Rob,
man,
what's
Rob
up,
man,
Rob?
323.
Big Rob.
And I think that's it.
My Nino, my godfather, said he subscribed. Just give a shout out to you. Thank
Oh
you,
yeah.
Nino.
What's up, Nino? My aunt subscribed. Christine. Hi, Stina.
All right.
Alice subscribed. Obsidian. I don't know who that is. Joel
Thank you,
Collin.
That's my buddy.
Alex. Alex Henich. That's actually the guy who works at the box office. Tony Don. That's my cousin.
Tony
Madu
Don.
Jimenez.
Yeah, Tony
Don,
Don.
Tony
That's
Don.
a dope ass
Tony
name.
Don.
Just
Yeah.
the whole last name.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
like-
every fucking name.
When he
Awesome.
gets
Tony Don.
old, they're gonna be like Tony Don.
Don Tony.
Tony Don.
That's
Madu
dope.
Jimenez. Dom. Sorley. Tommy. All right.
Sorry, Tommy.
Joshua Badillo. Watchdog 13. Jrat Monster.
Monster.
Hey.
I've been a subscriber.
David Reza. Christopher Don, that's me.
Hey, Chris.
So all you guys
Can't
are
follow
gonna get
yourself, dude.
special edition stickers.
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 We have reached the 50 mark.
We're
halfway
actually at
there.
54, I think now.
Nice. We want to say thank you to all our subscribers. Once we do reach that 100, you guys will receive that limited edition sticker. Just for a big thank you from all of us.
Yeah.
Designed by yours truly.
Your
Jrat
your
Monster.
subscriptions mean a lot to us. Keeps us doing the show.
Yes, so thank you very
So
much.
thank you guys.
This ain't fun.
No, it's fun,
thought
but
we
I
do
mean
it just
like
for us, it's for fun, no?
yeah.
I mean we've been at this
Fucking
for
ruining the blow.
we've been at
like
this
it.
for what, 3 months?
Yeah.
We have 53 subscribers. Now, apparently that's pretty good. Like if we had like 5 subscribers, I would start to feel like what are we doing, you know? We're talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
But people seem to like what we do, I guess.
That-
It's good to check our egos though. We don't want to get too cocky.
oh, yeah. Don't you have a story about that?
Yes. We were talking about egos the other day, and I told you to remind me. So when we first started Sons of Jimmy, the old band I used to be in, it was me and my homie Drew, who I'm hoping to have on the show soon. And we got together, we started the band. It was me and him. We started like writing, we started recruiting people. And it took us about a year to like recruit and like write and practice. All this took about a year before we ever played a gig. We didn't play any gigs. We would practice every weekend. We would write music and just hang out and party. It was a fun time. This was like 2009. Shit.
Nice.
A long time ago.
10 years ago.
10 years ago. So we finally in 2010 we do our first gig, right? It was at Mr. T's Bowl in Highland Park. This is before it got
Figueroa.
this is before it got remodeled. So it was still
Oh, that's that new bowling alley now.
yeah. Now it's like super nice.
Is this when you had to
before
go
that.
through the back, like the parking
Yeah,
lot?
you had to go
right?
through the back, and like the actual bowling alley was like closed off, and there was just a little stage. It was a cool spot though.
Smelled like feet though sometimes.
Yeah,
It was pretty cool.
Like feet. So we tell like our parents, and we tell people like, oh, we're gonna play, so people come out and you know, and we come and we've been rehearsing for a year, so like right off the bat we're just murdering it because we're you know, and everyone was like, whoa, everyone like was mind blown because like no one had heard us, so nobody really knew what we were doing. So everyone was like, oh my god. So of course 20-year-old Rev, you know, my head starts to go shh, and
Starts to inflate.
starts to
I know,
inflate,
like, whoa.
and I floated away.
Was your hair growing?
Yeah,
fast,
my
or-
head was catching up to the size of my schnauzer. So, then we played another gig. Where was the second gig at? The second gig was in Costa Mesa. We play there. It's like a bar. We murder it. Everyone's like, oh my god. So now we think we just think we're the shit. Mm-hmm. So our third gig, we go back to Mr. T's, and at this point, we at this point we're just like, we think we're the shit. So we show up to Mr. T's. Granted, we're on at the end. It's like this whole like whatever 5 bands, and we're at the end. We go on at like 1 a.m, but we're walking around the whole club. We're drinking. We're getting drunk, and we're telling everyone, gotta stick around. You gotta stick around. We're gonna play at the end. We're like saying like, we're the fucking best band you're ever gonna hear, and like you gotta stick around. You're not prepared for what you're about to witness. You know what I'm saying? Like we were fucking full of it.
We are
Hyping
God's
yourselves
gift.
So we were
to
God's
you.
fucking gift, and and we were. The thing about it is that we were convinced that this was true.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess on some level it was kind of true. But what happened was, we kept drinking, and we kept drinking, and we kept drinking,
shit.
and to show up at 8 and have to kill time to 1 a.m. And
Fucking
by
5
drinking,
hours,
forget it, dude. So we get on stage and we're fucking just drunk as fuck, like hitting wrong notes, like you know what I'm saying, and John, who was our front man, John is a white guy, and like when he drinks a lot, he turns red for some reason, and like he was all red, and like we start playing, right, and everyone stayed. We start playing, dude. We cleared the room out, like everyone left, and I remember there was a chick there who was a singer who was in one of the earlier bands, and we were like, "Oh, you gotta stay! Like, we're the shit." And she's like, and she was pretty fine too, so she stays. And I remember playing, and I'm like, I know something's wrong, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, something's not right, but whatever. We just plow through the set, and I remember like within the first song, like she's looking at us, she's watching us, and I remember like seeing her with my peripheral, and like playing, and then like. She just walks out. Like, she just leaves. And I remember just being like
She broke your heart?
Well, I was just like, oh my God. Like, I started to feel embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? So we play, and I remember there was only 2 people in the audience. Our homie, whose name was Joey, who came with us, came on the bus.
So he had to
So
stay.
he couldn't leave anyways. And then it was a one guy who was drunker than we were, and he was like, like up front, yeah, you guys are the shit. And so we play, and I remember, and Joey, like, he's the homie, so he's like, he's up front, and he's like trying to show us some love,
Yeah.
And Joey had a Newcastle. We were all drinking Newcastles, which is probably why we got so fucked up.
Nah, they're only 4%.
They still fuck you up if you're drinking enough.
Yeah, dude, we were
Anything
fucking
fucks you up,
pounding
you drink enough.
Yeah.
Plus, they give you drink tickets when you're part of the bill, and I'll forget it. So, Joey has his Newcastle, and he's like, he's head bobbing, and we're playing. And John, who's the front man, so he only has his mic, he grabs Joey's beer from out of his hand, and Joey's like, oh, okay. And John like takes like a big old swig. And instead of handing it back, he fucking slams it on the ground. And it shatters all over the stage. And Joey's like, what the fuck? And then and I'm like, okay. So we're still playing, right? Okay. And then John, at one point, he just starts sprinting back and forth across the stage. Like, I'm talking about like a full sprint. Remember how they used to run in Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
That's how he was running. Just back and forth. And and then I remember the only one who wasn't stupid wasted was Drew. He was still
the bag.
Yeah, he's in the back. But I guess because it was just snowballing at this point, we're playing, right? And we're playing and we're trying to just get through it. And at one point he does a cymbal crash and he hits his cymbals and his cymbals fall. They fall over right on top of him and he's all oh, dude, it was horrible. And yeah, so
you guys hyped it up.
Dude, and we made fucking.
Just have to remember, you're always vulnerable.
Oh, so and then we finished, and I turned my amp off, right, and the bar's empty. The guy who was the drunk guy, he's passed out at this point, and.
Drew's covered in cymbals.
I walk off stage and they had this little on the side of the stage there's a little curtain. Then you go behind the curtain and it's I guess where the musicians hang out before they go on.
Right.
And I go and I sit and I'm still not exactly sure what just happened.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we were supposed to just blow the roof off this place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
I sit down and I go, I don't think that was any good. I think that was bad. And I look, and I sit down, and I look next to me, and John's on the bench, but he's passed out. You know what I'm saying? And I look at John, and I'm just like, I think we just fucked that up.
So you never played at Mr. T's Bowl again, right?
I don't think so. No, they threw us out. They were like, "And stay out."
Shit, that first time was a fluke, wasn't it?
That was a fluke.
They gave you a box, and when you opened the box, it was a boot.
Yeah.
We're giving you the boot.
So, Jared, how would you like to send us off on a freestyle, maybe a live?
Hell yeah.
That'd be dope.
Hell yeah. Can I plug in my fucking aux cable?
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, put me up a little bit.
Your microphone?
No,
I'll play a song that I've been working on.
It's brand new. Brand new.
Yeah, it's brand new. Brand spanking new.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah,
Good idea.
Good looking out on that, Filo.
Thank you. I mean, we have a musician. Might as well use him.
I know.
Yeah.
Use me. Use me.
Use
my
I can get into places you can't.
Use this.
Feeling like Miklo over here.
Yeah, milkweed. Hey, this shit don't wash off. No weed or rank. This shit's for life, eh?
I made it white on the outside, but
I'm brown on the inside. I like when he first meets the main guy of the prison gang. La Onda, I guess. They were called.
Montana.
Yeah, Montana. And he walks in, and the first thing he says in Spanish. He goes, yo soy Chicano, blah, blah, blah. And he goes and he looks at him and he says, you speak Spanish, güero.
Yeah.
So do parrots.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, dude. Cut him some slack, man.
That don't mean shit.
Don't mean shit, man.
Put that movie in right now.
Shit, that's a classic. You know, when I was a kid, we used to watch that every Christmas on VHS.
I was telling you, I went to
saw it
the
in
movie
the theaters,
theater.
yeah, I know.
I'll hook it up right here.
Oh, right. I don't know why.
All right.
What is this song
Yeah,
called?
my dad took us to go watch that shit.
What's it called?
What, this song?
The song? Is
this
this a world premiere?
Yeah, world premiere. It's called Killer Fingers. It's actually the beat was made by my godbrother.
For anyone who doesn't know, Jrat, who is our longtime friend, also is the one who made our theme song. He didn't make it for the show; it was a song he had, but he's a seasoned producer. So world premiere.
Also, that
Jrat.
image you see on the YouTube.
Oh right, he also drew the image, our famous Ren and Stimpy ripoff image.
Yeah, thanks. Now we're gonna get sued for
Oops.
that. It's not Ren and Stimpy at all.
It's
Rev
not Ren and
Filo.
Stimpy.
You better cut that.
I'll cut that.
All right, let's see how this.
Nah, keep
Well,
that on
let them sue us. We don't have anything for them to take.
Yeah. Good publicity.
No, it's not. Gravy's
Okay,
bad.
let's try that again. World premiere, Jrat Monster.
Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's time to perceive a new perspective. Understand everything is all connected. Can't trust what you see, this shit is all deception. Look into the mirror and you won't see your reflection. I'm about to start an intellectual collective, one with no individual leader elected. You can't join though, you got to be hand selected. Keep it all eclectic and flush your bullshit way down the fucking septic. You could get irrational when time's hectic. I shock myself with my ideas, them shit's electric. Got them probiotic beats to help you with your peptic. That you can bump on them freeways and intersections. Smash on them with the fuel injection. Clearing pathways to unclog the brain congestion. Fuck all the presidential elections. When conquer and divide is at the top of their investments. You can ignore me, but your ears won't deny me. Meditate while my body be feeling irie. Use fingers for music instead of gun firing. The type of shit society should be admiring. You can ignore me, but your ears won't deny me. Meditate while my body be feeling irie. Use fingers for music instead of gun firing. The type of shit society should be admiring. I'm a music junkie waiting for that bass hit. We been slaves since they landed on they fucking spaceships. With all the guilt, how can we be so complacent and think there isn't life on other planets and universes adjacent? The country's been running off of races. Anunnaki reptiles that can shapeshift. No facelifts. It sounds like some fake shit, but they deceiving my species on some snake shit. We only know what we exposed to. So when you think that you're doing what you think that you're supposed to, I learned this shit back in 02. They tricking us day and night like them hoes do. But no need to go postal. Have a great time, raise a toast to. There you go.
That was nice. That was
Is
dope.
that
was dope.
That was dope.
Good looking out, good looking out.
Is that the beat that you're
My godbrother made
on the
yeah.
on the 404?
Yeah,
That
he
shit
made
sounds
that.
fucking fat,
Visuals. He's dope, man. He
That was
has
good.
some little heat. We're actually putting out a project.
I'm hoping
soon.
to get to that level.
We're
with
working
mine.
on an EP.
Damn. All right, man. Wow, fucking J-Rat, that was sick.
That was sick.
Um,
Good looking out.
That was a perfect way to end it. To our listeners, thank you for listening. All the weekly people. Any final words, fellas?
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Mike?
Latest.
Hey,
Jay Rizzle?
check your boy out, jratmonster.com.
Yes, plug your shit, please.
Jrat at Bandcamp.
We'll have
fucking
all the
iTunes
links in the-
music, Spotify, all that good shit. Jrat Monster, one word.
We'll make sure to put the links
No,
in the
mommy.
description. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys, and we'll be back next week with some more nonsense.
That's every week.
Oh, right, that's every week.
Well, yeah, with some more.
Oh yeah.
All right, everyone, thanks for listening. Have a good week.
Peace.